Science.
And a 1, 2.
Woo!
Dance.
How?
Hey kids, Professor Marbles here. Today we're at Launch Complex 26, where they launched Explorer 1. That's the first satellite that we ever launched. We're gonna see the inside of the control room. I'm gonna tell you all about it. Let's get to it. Away!
All right, we're gonna go into firing room B, so let's go. Okay, welcome to the firing room at Pad B. Everything in here is original equipment minus me. And to show you how original equipment, there you'll see 3 objects pulled out in front. Anybody want to guess what those are?
Ashtrays.
You said ashtrays.
Ashtrays.
You are absolutely correct, sir. But let me give you some quick stats here. The building itself is 2 feet thick at the base, 8 feet thick overhead. The windows are about 1.5 feet thick, assembled in 3 sections. Now you notice we walked in and we stomped on some metal trays on the way in. If you look out behind me, you'll see that there's some metal trays going out to the pad. That's for Pad B. We have a set going over for Pad A. That's where the missile was hardwired. The missile was hardwired into that area right back there for Pad B. Same way over for Pad A, because the rocket itself was only 400 feet away. You know, and you look at it as compared to 39A and B, which are about 3.5 miles to 4 miles away. Now there's a running joke that when they built 39A, put the LCC at 3.5 miles away. You know, the Saturn V was equivalent to that of a small tactical nuclear missile, and the blast radius was 3 miles. So they put the LCC at 3.5 miles away. Or they put the press site at 3 miles away. In case there was an accident, there'd be no written record of it. But these blockhouses in the early days were built to protect the people in here. They had very little comforts. They had very little air conditioning. About what we have in here today, filled with there were about 35 people in here in this whole complex during launch day. Now, you'll see that we have 4 clocks. Eastern, local time, countdown, hold. Unlike today's launches, they have holds built in. Back in the early days, they timed the holds. Somebody standing at these consoles, they had a problem, they raised their hand and called out to the flight director, who was sitting right where this young woman is, and said, "I've got a problem." Okay, wrote down what time and all that, and the problem, and they timed it, and everybody else at the time was going, "Yeah, okay, I've got a problem too." Zulu. Anybody know what Zulu time is? Anybody know what GMT means?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Zulu time, GMT, Greenwich Mean Time are the same thing. Better to have one universal time for all the tracking things around the world than it is to say, hey, it's now 2:30, we're gonna go in 15 minutes, so they can just figure it out. Anyway, coming back to the hold clock. Now, we're getting close on to the countdown. The launch director has just picked 2 technicians and an engineer. Has given the official order to lock us in. What they do, they went and closed that first inner blast door. Then they went and closed the outer 2 blast doors. They got in their car, made sure they had their golf clubs in it, and they went away to a safe distance. Now, let's flash back to Florida, 1958. We'll pick a nice day in, say, July, where it's nice and cool and there's barely any humidity. And if you believe that lie, I got some others to sell you. Where it's 1,000% humidity, the sun is at the highest peak at noon. It's really bleeping hot. Everybody is smoking like there's no tomorrow. They've all come back from having a lot of lunch. They've all had a lot of tea and coffee and water, and they're locked in here for God knows how long. Anybody want to guess where the bathroom is?
The ashtrays.
Remember that door I told you to remember when we walked in between the 2 blast doors?
Yeah.
The one that says staff only? That was the only bathroom. But yeah, that's where the bathroom was located. All right, seeing as how you volunteered to sit there, ma'am, as I just said, this was a male-dominated position. Thankfully, that has changed. There are women launch directors today.
Do I launch?
Well, you're gonna need to know how, or what buttons to move. 1 finger there.
Okay.
1 finger there.
At the same time, right?